And I'm Jeff Evanson.
And welcome to my Caribbean family. You know, Jeff, thank you. Wonderful audience. When we're talking about culture, okay?
Yes.
Especially with Caribbean people, culture is a very important thing, you know.
I think so. It's what makes us do the things that we do, the way we do them.
It defines who we are.
Exactly. And it defines how we are different to other people from other places.
Exactly. And you know you're very different.
Absolutely.
I'm very different. And you know, sometimes when we're thinking about culture, we associate it with a particular country, like
Yes.
Barbados or Trinidad. You almost feel as though the person has to be born there to really have those cultural attributes.
But not necessarily, because culture is something that is transferable.
That's true.
It can be passed down, or it can be transferred even across waters.
That's
You
so
could
true.
be a Bajan living in Abu Dhabi and still maintain a lot of the aspects of your culture.
Or like me, a born Canadian of Barbadian parentage. And I'm still a Bajan.
Or like me, Bajan to the bone.
So tonight, what we're going to be looking at are different genres, I would like to say that word, of Bajans. We've got people who were born in Barbados, and we're looking at Bajans specifically tonight,
Yes.
Yes, we're going to do this throughout the Caribbean. So Trinidadians, Jamaicans, Vincies, and Lucians, we're coming at you soon, all right? But tonight we're looking at Bajans who live in Barbados and grew up here, Bajans who were born here but live abroad,
And Bajans who were born here and still are here.
right? And those who were born here, there's a lot of different kind of Bajans, you know. They were born here, they were living abroad, and now they have returned to live here.
Returning nationals.
Returning nationals. Yes, definitely returning nationals.
All people with Bajan in their bones.
Bajan to the bone.
Right, thank you.
Right. So, we invite you to stay with us, sit back, enjoy the ride, and again, welcome to my Caribbean family. And we're back. And with us, we have been joined by Margaret Burrows Wood. Now, she is one of those Bajans who was born here, but she's been living in the USA. Margaret, I understand that you have been living in New York since the 1970s?
That's correct, since the 1970s.
Wow.
That's a long time to be away from home.
Yes, but I've been home many, many times.
Oh, so you still maintain that close
That connection, yes.
Great.
So you are considered Bajan by all of your New York posse.
Yes, that's correct.
How do they know you're Bajan? What stands out? What makes you Bajan?
Work ethic, a strong belief in God, a strong belief in education, and a strong belief in doing the best in everything you try to do.
I like that. So a major part of Bajans abroad is that whole educational aspect, is it?
Yes, plus the Christianity.
Plus the
the
Christianity.
religious aspect. of it.
Yes. All right. Yeah. So you've been up there. You say you come home a lot, home being Barbados. What is the best part of coming home?
The beach. There's nothing like the beach.
Yes.
But they got beaches in New York too.
Not beaches, not like in Barbados.
So you love the beach. What else?
The food, and to meet with friends who you've been to school with years ago and still remember you the same.
Okay. So I'm gonna have you see my size. I have to talk about the food, Jack.
Yes, of course. I
Talk about
understand.
the
You're
food.
forgiven.
Right. So Margaret, this food. What foods do you get in Barbados that you cannot get in New York?
To be quite honest, in the last, I'll say 10 years, everything that you can get in Barbados, you can get in New York. But the preparation of them is different.
Different. The meal tastes different.
The meal tastes different.
Yes.
The preparation
I
is
found that.
different.
So a special part of the Bajan culture is not just the food, but how we prepare the
How we
food.
prepare the food, the lime and salt of the chicken and the fish, and the Bajan seasoning makes a whole lot of difference.
And a New Yorker cannot cook kuku
No, they can't.
because New Yorkers don't move.
So wait a minute. You still eat cuckoo in New York?
Occasionally.
Okay.
Occasionally when you go to a Barbadian fete, a Barbadian party,
Yes.
or a Barbadian get together.
You get cuckoo at fetes in New York?
Yes, you do.
Do you get cuckoo at fetes in Barbados?
Absolutely not.
Well,
That's
then
not really
Barbadians
playing
gather
race.
together in New York,
Yeah.
right? There's certain things that you must have. If it's a wedding, you must have black cake,
Right.
Okay.
right?
And not
Correct?
chocolate cake.
No, not chocolate cake. Black fruit cake with rum,
With rum.
right? And if it's a regular party, you know, you have things like fish, and codfish cakes is a must.
Me fish cake.
Fish cakes, we call them codfish cakes in New York.
Yes. We
That's
still
a
call them
must.
fish cakes.
Right, that's a must.
Alright.
And the occasional conky might come in handy.
Does it come in any time in the year or just around Independence
No,
time?
anytime. It's
Wow.
just a special treat.
So conkeys is Bajan.
Yeah, definitely. But we have to wait until November to get them.
Oh, okay, yeah. In Barbados.
In Barbados.
So we don't eat conkeys all through the year here.
No, we don't. That's not our culture.
But wait a minute, though, wait. I heard some of my colleagues saying that they can get conkeys when they feel like it.
Well, they can go home and make it themselves.
Okay, so you might not be able to buy the conkeys
No.
except for around November, but you can eat them all through the year.
Of course.
Another thing you do is coconut bread. Coconut bread is a special treat in New York. And now you get tamarind balls, and sometimes you even get sugar cakes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So wait, don't other Caribbean islands have these things as well? Tamarind balls and sugar cakes and coconut
But
bread?
they call them by different names, and there might be a little difference, like variety, right? Like the tamarind balls from Trinidad are very hot with pepper. You know, they're
Yes,
from
that's right.
Trinidad, they're not from Barbados.
Oh, okay. Now, you can't be a Bajan unless you drink Mardi. Do you do bark or do you do syrup?
It depends. It depends on what you have. But Bajans always have Moby bark in their house.
In New York?
Yeah, you always. When you come home, you take some Moby bark back. You always have it.
Okay.
But sometimes it's more convenient to
To
just
just
use
mix the
syrup.
syrup, yes. But it doesn't taste the same.
No.
No. It's not the real authentic
sorrow.
Bajan malt.
And sorrow.
Bajans have sorrel at Christmas, and
Yes.
Thanksgiving we have sorrel too.
Well, we got sorrel all year round. I like sorrel. I love sorrel all year round.
Not the fizzy kind, though, right?
That
Not
too?
those sorrow drink.
No, that too.
Okay.
I like sorrel flavored drinks all year round. But I could sit on here tonight and talk about food forever.
Well, then let's change the subject and talk.
Yeah, let's talk about something else. You said you've got some children and grandchildren. What aspects of the Barbadian
Of
culture?
Barbadian culture have you actively passed on to them?
The importance of education. Now, I've always told my children that education is the only real form of mobility. Right? Education, and I always told them that good manners will take you places where a good education might not even take you. So I've always instilled in them education and good manners. Excuse me, please, and thank you.
And I have to ask a really ridiculous question. Did they take you seriously?
Yes, they did.
Okay, good.
Yes, they did.
At least you succeeded.
Yeah. And now you've got grandchildren. Now, grandchildren, that's a whole other generation, whole new era. Do you think that those particular parts of the culture are still valid for them today?
Yes, it is, yeah. My grandchildren, I instill in them the importance of education, which I'm very proud of because all three of them are doing really well, and also good manners. And I think that's very, very important. Even on your job, people know that you're from Barbados because of the good manners.
Yes, ma'am, and excuse me and please.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
very
those are true Bajan traditions.
Definitely
Yes.
true Bajan traditions. Now, I know we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon. You have to go back to New York and take some more sorrel and Moby bark, and you take Shirley biscuits too. But why am I talking about food again, Jeff?
I don't know, because you've got those things on your mind.
But, in terms of the parenting part of it, Caribbean parents on the whole in North America sometimes appear to be stricter than other parents, especially North American parents. How did you find raising your children in New York, trying to instill the Barbadian way of life and culture? How did you find that with them? Was it easy?
It depends on First of all, it depends on your profession. And the laws in the United States are very, very different.
Yes.
There's so much child abuse going on, you have to be very careful. But what you do in your house is different to what you do outside.
Yes.
In your house, you try to instill certain things in your kids. But when you're on the outside, there are only certain things that you can do. But you hope that if you teach them well at home, that when you go,
You wouldn't have to break the law.
Right.
So you shared some lashes.
No, I didn't really have to do a lot, but occasionally a little pat here and a little pat there.
Right.
But usually a stare will look for, for my children, usually a stare would do it.
Yes, that's
Does
good.
it work for the grandchildren too?
Sometimes.
It's a lot more talking these days.
A lot more talking.
That was good to hear.
Yeah.
Fantastic hearing from you.
So, lastly now, advice. There are Barbadian parents around the world, outside of Barbados, raising children. What advice would you give to them to help them to put in some of the Bajan culture in their children? What aspects of the culture and how can they actually do it?
I go back to my original words. Good manners will take you anywhere. Good manners and education. Mm-hmm. And I think those are the two important things, good manners and education. I think if you can get that, with good manners, you instill behavior.
Absolutely.
Right? Good ethics. And I think if you can capture those two and instill those two in your children, I think you have done a very good job.
That's a good point of exchange. Fantastic.
Right. Thank you so much,
you.
Margaret Burroughs Wood, visiting with us all the way from New York City.
Thank you for having me.
Right. And we will be right back.
And
we're back. Thank you for coming back, joining us. With us now, we have another kind of Bajan. This Bajan, Karen Bryan, she is Bajan born, and she still lives here.
That's right.
The best place to be is right here in Bim.
And you have offspring.
Yes, I have 3 lovely children.
Oh man, and they were all born here.
Born and bred here.
Bred and born, or born and bred.
Whichever one, they're all here.
Would you consider them Bajan to the bone?
Yes, they are. Definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
What does that mean for you? What are you passing on to them to make them Bajan to the bone?
In particular, around what we call the independence time, I do conkeys. Conkeys were a tradition when I was growing up. My mom would make us grate all of the ground provisions. I remember that knuckle exercise.
Right. Fingernails.
Yes,
Nothing in the
definitely.
processor and hit that button.
And now that's what I do. We do the preparation for conkeys at the time. It is part of who we are. Actually, we changed the way we ate a couple years ago, this 1 or 2 years, and right now we're trying to make conkeys healthier, but we are going to do it. It's a mission.
Okay.
Right? Because we can't leave out the conkeys. So that's one way in which I pass on some of my culture to my children. And that's way is we go to the beach often. We appreciate what Barbados have to offer. Almost every Friday, family goes to Browns Beach or Pebbles, and we appreciate what is Bajan, the beaches, the golden sands, the water, the golden sunsets.
Yes.
That is Barbados.
And you do it as a family.
And we do it as a family, yes.
Good. Well, now, when you were growing up, and you're looking at how you're raising your children now, what were the similarities in terms of how the culture was put into you and how you're putting the culture into your children? Some of the similarities and some of the differences.
I would say one similarity is that I have grandparents in my life, and the community made sure that you knew what was Bajan just by the way, they lived.
Yes.
All right, I grew up in villages, and my mom and the neighbor, they shared, they did things like that, and that was something that it wasn't taught like from a book, but it was something that you breathed in and you realized that is what Bajan means.
That's
sharing,
right. Sharing.
neighborly. And that's still a similarity now. I have extended family, I have neighbors, they continue to share. Whether you live in the villages or whether you live in the parks or terraces, it has been my experience that neighbors share Given the opportunity, they're very willing, and that is Bajan. So now I am more intentional with sharing Bajan things. Back then, they didn't have to be intentional. Right now, I'm competing with the satellite television. I'm competing with the internet and everything that's out there on the World Wide Web.
Because
you got
boxes.
Right, you got millennial children now, right?
That is true. That is true.
Yes.
So they're very tech savvy. They bring things into the home that is outside of the Caribbean. Some things I've never even come across.
Right.
So I have to be intentional with what is Bajan, what is accepted here. I'm not only talking discipline, all right? I'm talking things like manners. We have a standing joke. In Barbados, you will hear someone say, yes, please.
Yes.
Where else do you go and hear yes, please?
Very,
you hear
very
yes,
true.
ma'am, yes, sir.
Or I.
But you
Yes,
hear
sir.
yes. In Barbados, we say yes, please.
Yes.
And that's something I actually instill in my children.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So tell me something now. You look at the good aspects of Barbadian culture, and like everything else, culture evolves. Are there any aspects of the Barbadian culture you're seeing now, the millennial culture, that you don't really want to pass on to your children or have them pick up?
Well, I have found that there are some aspects that have come into the Bajan and the Caribbean setting, like what I call the blot life, and not just the blot life. I mean the negative aspects of blot life.
Yes.
Before, when you saw people liming around the street light, they were playing dominoes, etc.
They were just laming.
Yes, they were literally doing a Bajan line.
Yes.
Nowadays, some blocks have the connotation of violence, and that's something I really don't want my children associated with. That's something I actually purposely keep them away from.
All right. Well, thank you. So, in wrapping up now, my last question for you.
Yeah, that was fast.
You know it. Advice. What advice would you give to parents of millennials now, or millennial parents now, in putting that Bajan culture into their children? The positive aspects of it.
I would say find out first of all what is Bajan. You have to know what is Bajan, okay? Because there are some aspects of our culture that have been coming in just because of commercialism. You have to know really and
Very
truly
true.
what is Bajan. And when you find what it is, hold on to that positive part and purposely instill it.
Yeah.
Take time with your children to appreciate the physical elements of Barbados. Go to Harrison Cave, go on the Atlantis submarine, just go fishing, walk around with your children doing things that you can only do here in Barbados,
Yes.
and teach them manners.
Yes.
Folks, you heard it from a true Bajan to the bone.
With a
parent.
bone. Teach them manners.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add and put a little chocolate chip in your corn keys.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one at all.
And on that note, we'll be right,
We'll be
back.
Again,
And we're back.
We're back. And we're back with another kind.
Yes.
This one is Miss Kathy Daniel. And she is one of those Barbadians that we spoke of who was born here, was raised here, left and went overseas, had children overseas, or
No,
raised
Yes.
raised children,
Partially.
raised a child overseas, partially overseas. And then she's returned to the Rock to live. All right?
With or without?
With.
With the truth. Right.
So let us welcome Kathy Daniel. All right.
Great to be here.
So tell us, Kathy, where did you live? Were you within the region, or were you in Europe?
I went to Toronto to study when I was 19. That turned into 6 years in Toronto,
Toronto.
Hogtown.
Okay.
Okay. Came back home, fell in love, got married, and at some point my husband looked at me and said, "Let's move to Canada."
Okay.
We had was just over a year old at that point, and I said something like, but it's cold there, Han.
Mm-hmm.
Having survived my 6 Toronto winters, learned to
Yeah.
ski the whole 9 yards, I thought, all right, that's cool. But I really wasn't up for all this. Anyway,
Being Asian, of course.
Of course.
cut to the chase. We left when Nick was 2 and moved to Toronto. Well, Whitby, actually, just outside. We spent a total of 10 years. In those 10 years, we were in Canada. Then we moved to Bermuda. Then we moved to the Cayman Islands.
Yes.
And then we moved back.
Ah.
So you were traveling.
And by the time the kid was 10, he was on his 4th country. Come on.
So tell me something. When you were living in these different countries, did you associate with the Bajan community in those countries? I know that in Toronto, Barbadians, and throughout the
Everywhere.
islands. in fact.
Everywhere.
So what was it like with the Barbadian community? Were you a part of it?
Not exclusively. For me, part of going to a different country was to assimilate friends, to have new experiences, and I had sort of made a personal vow that I did not want my child/children to grow up with my prejudices. Like, we all have them, some others. And so I made a very conscious effort to expose Nick to different things and
To lots of
keep
different
it very
Yes.
open.
Let them make their minds up for themselves.
Precisely. You monitor, obviously. It's like,
Oh,
hey,
right.
come on. Canada's a melting pot. But he was little.
So tell me something. You are exposing your child to all these different cultures, but you're also exposing all these different cultures.
Poor
What
things.
did what did they learn about being a Barbadian from seeing you,
Wow.
watching your life?
Oh man, that's a scary thought. That's a lot of
The
responsibility.
good stuff, Jackie. The good
Yeah,
stuff.
that's the good stuff.
Always. I think a lot of people were surprised by, well, in Canada in some cases, when I went there the first time to study, I had a bit of a fight on my hands because they wanted me to do the test of English as a foreign language.
Barbadians do know how to speak. We're very articulate.
Well, as I pointed out, none too gently, English was not a foreign language to me, and that furthermore, I was pretty sure I spoke it better than some of them.
Ah, okay.
That didn't go over too well, but
So language was very important because I guess a country like Barbados, you might be just speak a lot of dialect only.
well, oh gosh, we're talking the 80s. My first stint in Canada, people didn't even know where Barbados was.
The story.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And those,
is
and
that.
those who knew
Well,
wondered
we're
how
in
many,
Jamaica.
how many coconut trees we had.
Yes, I think the vision of Barbados was a beach with coconut trees, and
Right.
somewhere in there was an airport.
So tell me now, because we're wrapping. Your son, he's not living in Barbados,
Not anymore. He is studying in the United States right now.
but does he carry the Barbadian culture with him?
It depends on who you ask. When we moved back here, he got called, excuse me, all sorts of stupid names at school because he did not have a strong Bajan accent.
Okay,
That was the first thing. His worldview was different.
yes.
Teachers noticed that, and we had some discussion. The last place we lived before we came back home was the Cayman Islands, and our condo was like the United Nations because at school he made friends from Wales, play rugby, Ireland, Scotland, Canada, France, Colombia, Ukraine.
Right.
So it was like the UN. You had all these little kids, well, not little, they were like 12 years old, 11. And, at any given moment, there was some kid in my house, or my kid was over at somebody's house.
Right. And you know
they
their
got
parents.
on. Yes. Oh, hello. I'm still a Bajan mother at
So
heart.
it comes out, right.
Still a Bajan mother.
Yes.
I will do the background checks.
I want to know who this boy is.
That's right.
Yes.
And I will meet them. My mother did this with me, and I employed it. Bring them over. Oh, you're making friends with so-and-so. You can come over on Saturday.
Right. That is very, very Bajan. We like to know who we are associating with, who our children are associating
Yeah.
with, right?
Not everybody out there has good intent.
But Kat,
Shares our values.
I'm glad to hear that even though your son is not living in Barbados right now, that there's still some part of him that is Bajan. And if it is only the part where it's like, get to know you, I want your mama to get to know me, that's making it Bajan.
That's
It's
right.
really making it Bajan. I want to
right.
thank you. And do you have
You're
any
welcome.
advice, one word of advice to parents who are raising their in a different country where their child might not come back to Barbados?
Oh boy, one word? Pray.
Well, a
Pray,
phrase.
a phrase. Pray.
I think a spiritual center is very necessary because
Right.
that's where your value. You know, the old time Bajans speak. You pass somebody on the road, you say good
That's right.
morning.
Yes.
My car broke down. 6 or 8 children from primary and secondary schools passed. I was waiting for the tow truck. Every one of them spoke. One of them said,
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
It was
important.
still, and that warmed my heart. I thought, all right, cool. We still got some good old time Bajan stuff happening.
Good old time.
That's Bajan to the bone.
Yeah.
So Bajan to the bone, welcoming into the home and inviting everyone.
Best place on earth.
And praying that your
Yes.
children are raised and grow up.
You
to
pray over them, you pray
Yes.
with them, you pray for them.
Correct.
that. Kathy,
Thank
thank you
you.
for joining us in My Caribbean Family.
You're very welcome.
And you don't go anywhere because we will be
Right back. And now we're going to have some audience reaction to a simple question. What makes you feel like a Bajan to the bone? And here's our first guest member of the audience.
Hello. I think for me, the way I cook, and testament to that is the amount of friends that come at my house very often for a meal. I keep it traditional and tasty. I like to season the hell out of my food. And North Americans would think that we season our food too much, but they enjoy it though, it's tasty. So that's one of the things. The way I dance, I think we decided we have a rhythm of our own. Trinidadians would dance to calypso, but we dance differently to calypso. So, and added to that, our peaceful nature. I've known and I've experienced where Bajans thrive despite hardship. They will share what little they have, or we will share what little we have. And even in the face of racism, as we travel and live abroad and so on, we still thrive. And I think that we are of strong stock by nature, and a lot of it depends on our spirituality and a deep sense of self-worth, and that makes me Bajan.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now another member of the audience. What's your response, ma'am?
A combination of our dialect and what we say is what makes a Bajan. For example, open it in and lower it up. Those are the things that are uniquely Bajan. I've not heard of them anywhere else.
Thank you very much. Open in. What's your response, ma'am?
I can give you a different perspective being a Canadian-born Bajan, of Bajan Canadian parents also, but I still pride myself in being Bajan to the bone, although I'm born abroad. The dialect that I've been ingrained in from birth, from my grandparents, from my parents, my relatives, the food that I've been eating since birth. I've been visiting Barbados since I was a baby, and I'm here on a semi-annual basis. And just the concepts of family life, spirituality, and also people could tell in Canada that, you know, you're from Barbados because of just quiet peacefulness, a patience that you have that's quite different sometimes from other people from other islands. So they know the distinction between Barbadian and the other island people, and also people from various, in Canada we have different members of the black community who come from Africa, South America, various parts of the world. So people can distinguish between the Barbadian accent, the Barbadian food, the Barbadian culture. So I still pride myself in being Bajan to the bone.
Very much. Time for one more. One more answer over here. What makes you feel like a Bajan to the bone, man?
I love to cook. I love to cook, bake and everything, do some everything. And I have the family around.
Okay.
Yeah, take care of your family. All of these I have raised. All of them. I have it on, but I have all nephews and everything, great nephews and everybody.
You raise a whole family.
I raised a village.
Fantastic. Now that is Bajan to the bone, raising the whole village. Thank you all very much.
So that's it, Jeff. We have established what it means for some people to be Bajan, what's Bajan culture, how Bajan culture changes from era to era, circumstances,
Locale.
locale to locale. But at the end of the day, we're all still Bajan.
Bajan to the bone.
To the bone.
Enjoy it. We love it. We're passionate about it.
Yeah.
And we're entirely happy to be Bajans.
Entirely happy. And there's one more thing I'm taking away from all that was said here this evening. This thing about manners. We Bajans are extremely mannerly people. And we like to do two things. We like to invite people to places, as I'm inviting all of you to join us in my Caribbean family. Send us your emails. Send us your pictures. Send us your good news. Send us your not so good. Send us your concerns.
And your stories.
And your stories. And you can contact us on Facebook, or you can send us email at info@mycaribbeanfamily.net. You got that, Jeff?
info@mycaribbeanfamily.net.
That's right.
That's easy.
That's very easy. And the last thing, as a manly person, we will do is we are going to thank the wonderful people who have allowed us to use this space tonight. This is Divi Southwinds Resort.
On the south coast of Barbados.
It's a lovely place, and it comes even with crickets. Lovely crickets in the background. We also like to thank our crew. We like to thank all of our guests for sharing with us, for coming out and being with us at this particular time. We'd like to thank our guests, especially who joined us on our set. That was Margaret Wood,
Karen,
Karen Bryan,
Kathy Daniel.
Kathy Daniel, and then our audience members who were so willing to share with us. Again, we thank you all. We thank you all. And thank you, Jeff.
You're more than welcome.
You're a fantastic co-host.
I try my best.
That's good. We all
And we
try.
look forward to seeing you next time
On My Caribbean Family.